Good evening and welcome to another live market overview of the crypto market with myself, Pumpeye the Traderman, and my friend Bilo, the former bear. Good evening, Bilo.
Good evening, buddy. Hope everybody's doing well out there in the metaverse. We're going to start off as we normally start off with the Bitcoin chart, zoomed out since the beginning of time for Bitcoin. So wave one for Bitcoin is the 19,000 or close to 20,000 that happened in December of 2017. Wave two, wave three is the all-time high from April of 2021. Wave four is the bottom of the accumulation, Wyckoff accumulation channel that happened there on after. And we're right now inside of wave five. We've done this description before, but for those that haven't seen it, we'll do another little bit of a demonstration. Elliott Waves are essentially cycles that happen in the market, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's a shitcoin, or whether it's a stock. And the way that Elliott Waves work, they work in a sequence as follows: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is obviously up to the upside. This could be also to the downside. And after the fifth wave, we have a correction that we refer to as ABC, A, B, C. This is a typical Elliott wave cycle. So the correction can get a lot more complicated. There are maybe 20 different variations of corrections. There are 2 to 3 variations of wave 1, 2 to 3 variations of wave 5, but only one type of wave 3. And why it is important is because wave 3 is the most predictable wave in terms of its behavior. Usually it's also the longest and strongest wave. Now, what's important to understand is that this entire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycle, which we just showed you here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're on our way to do 5, is essentially one very large wave 1. So all this from here to here is actually, I'll just fix this a bit, one wave, and the ABC is another wave. So from here to here would be wave 1, and from here to here would be wave 2. And inside these waves, wave 1, 3, and 5 are made up of 5 waves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then wave 2 and wave 4 are correction waves, meaning it's, you guessed it, A, B, C, or one of the 9 or 20, I should say, different variations of corrections. But let's just refer to it as simple as possible for now and call it an ABC. So what's important to construe from all of this is that it's a cycle inside of a cycle inside of a cycle. And if you want to count Elliott waves, you start from the grand cycle, and then you start zooming in and counting the different waves. There are a lot of different rules and conditions when it comes to Elliott waves. So it's not very straightforward. But once you do try to get the hang of it, and once you start to get the hang of it and understand and follow the rules of exceptions, especially in Elliott wave, you are much more likely to make decent predictions in terms of what can happen in the market. So now that this is explained, we want to zoom in a little bit and look at what's happening inside of wave 5. And we'll go into the 4-hour, or maybe start with the daily, actually, the daily time frame. So as mentioned earlier, this was the Wyckoff accumulation channel. This was the beginning of wave 5. So this is wave 1, wave 2. We're on our way to make wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. So we're currently, guys, inside of wave 3, okay? We zoom in further and we look at wave 3. And what we see here is that we entered into a correction. And this is where it gets very confusing for Elliott wave, because normally the correction happens always below the top of the wave, okay? So this here is wave 3 of wave 3, this wave 3 of wave 5 grand cycle. What happened here and where, we got tricked is this move up to here. So most would have said, since we went higher than 66.5, we were starting a new impulsive wave up to wave 3, meaning wave 5 of wave 3 of wave 5 started. But what happened is it went down. So this is what's called an expanded deep flat, which essentially is it's what's called a WXY followed by another WXY followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We covered this last time we had a live overview. We predicted, I don't want to use the word predicted because we didn't. We said that should we go below this number here, 57.5, if we go below 57.5, we are definitely in an expanded deep correction flat. The reason for that is that by going below this, it meant that this was not an ABC followed by a new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since we came back down below it, we can never go below wave 0. It means we were still in a correction, and now this becomes a confirmed expanded deep flat. Okay, so now we need to find wave 5, and once wave 5 is reached, then we can start to look at upside. If we see more downside or a lot more horizontal movement or anything below this value right here, the bottom of what I have here is wave 5, then we're in a combination flat, and now it gets even more complicated. Without making everybody's life too complicated, I want you to notice one thing that is very interesting and that we did predict, or not predict again, but made you aware of. We said that if we go below 57.5, and you can watch the video from last week or whenever it was, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. We said there are 2 points of interest that we have to keep our eyes on. One is the top of wave 1, which is approximately 52.8. And look here, we went just to that level. Now, guys, I get a question a lot, that why, we said 52.8 and it went to 52.9. How come? The reason for this is quite simple. There are many exchanges. Here I'm on Bitfinex. There could be Binance, there could be Kraken, there could be Qcoin. I mean, there's endless amounts of exchanges. And in between these exchanges, there are bot arbitrage algorithms that always aim to make sure that there is no large difference in price between one exchange and another. And this works in a very automated fashion. So, on this exchange, it could be that the bounce happened at 53.4. On another exchange, it could have been 53.2. Another exchange could have been 52. It doesn't really matter. So this area here is significant, and we saw the reaction. Okay, it's right here. We saw the reaction. I should draw this in green because it's support. And then the next point, which we said was extremely important, not to fall below. I'll have to move to another chart. If we had indeed gone below, would have been this point here at around 48. Why is that? Why is it so important? Well, the reason why it's so important, there's a couple of reasons. One of them being, so this is the one I just spoke to you about. So the other reason why it's so important is because it's the top of this inverse head and shoulders, which started this whole movement upwards in October. Okay, and it's not unusual for us to retest the top of this inverse head and shoulders. It happens very often. We see a head and shoulders breakout, inverse or a regular one, and come back and test that point. So this here would be a very, very important support to keep. And as you can see on the left side of the screen right here, it has a lot of confluence with the left shoulder. So there's a lot of support here that if we fail and actually drop below this point, I would start to get concerned. Okay, I would start to get concerned about where the Bitcoin price is going to go, Could be a scam wick, could go back up, but I would be concerned below that point. So far, things are actually like picture perfect. So, you know, in Elliott Wave, you don't want wave 4 to drop below wave 1 as a main principle. So right here, we could see that wave 4, which is here, has not dropped below wave 1. If it drops below wave 1, it can happen as a wick and go back up, which is touch upon this line here, which is the inverse head and shoulder neckline, as well as the tip, the bottom tip of the inverse left shoulder, excuse me. So in Elliott Wave terms, we were bullish before because we are in an upwards bullish Elliott Wave cycle for Bitcoin. We are still inside of this upward bullish wave cycle for Bitcoin. As of now, we are still inside of the upwards bullish wave cycle for Bitcoin. I thought it was important that we clarify this. In terms of resistances that are important for us to overcome, there are a few. I think it was a few days ago in Crypto Society in the chat where, you know, the price had tried to, you know, try to get above 60K, I think it was, but didn't make it. So getting above 60K from a psychological perspective is important, but it's also getting above this point here, which is wave 4, which is again inside of the correction, the deep expanded flat. And guys, the expanded flat, the tricky part in an expanded flat is that the correction happens to be higher than the wave before it. Normally corrections are lower than the wave. So this is what makes an expanded flat very tricky and puts a lot of people out of their positions, because many people will go long above wave 3 because it's like, oh, we started a new cycle, we're going up. And then they get, you know, an expanded wave flat and kind of screws everything up. So this area here, if you go back and take a look back in time, I'm sure you'll see a great many deal of positions that would have been liquidated. I wanted to just mention one thing before zooming in actually a little bit, is on the weekly, and we've mentioned this, I think, each and every single time in the past month, a level that is important to keep our eyes on. And guys, I apologize that the chart looks messy. I'm just going to try to zoom out a little bit in a way that we can see things better. But the 7-day exponential moving average is a very interesting number on the weekly. Price right now is 57,646. The EMA that's right here, which is going to change values because of my cursor, I'm going to keep it to the right. It's 58,336. If you look at the history of Bitcoin, it's the yellow line. When we're above it, we tend to hug it and continue to be above it for a while. And when we penetrate below it. I don't mean like a wick, but really penetrate below it. We also tend to stay under it for a while. So it's an important line. Okay, we were above it up until here. We went down below it. Now it's been a couple of weeks. I expect, since I feel the correction is reasonably almost over, even though it could go down more, there's good enough reason to believe that it's almost over. I expect we'll get above it really soon, but it's a good number to keep an eye on. This exponential moving average number 7, it basically on the weekly, which basically just means that it takes the last 7 weeks price of Bitcoin, and it puts a larger emphasis on the most recent value rather than just a simple average. That's the only difference between the two. So moving into a 4-hour chart, I'd like to just point something out. On the 4-hour chart, this is where the expanded flat would have happened. Okay, so this would have been your ABC, ABC, or WXY, WXY, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an expanded flat. WXY, WXY, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, and if we do our Fibonacci extensions just to see if the waves make sense, okay, we do 1 from 1 to 2, and wave 3, look at this, happens to be very close to the 1.618. So there's a lot of confluence there when it comes to Elliott wave theory. Wave 4 did not go above wave 1. That's good. We check, 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 check. So far, everything checks out. Now we're in wave 5. So now the big question is how do we count 5 waves here? Okay, so it could be that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a truncated wave 5. It's very, very possible. It just looks a little odd, but it's very, very possible. So if I was to draw it out so you guys can see it, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's an odd looking structure, but from an Elliott wave perspective, it meets all the rules. Why does it meet all the rules? Wave 2 does not go above wave 0. Okay, it doesn't intersect. Wave 4 doesn't intersect with wave 1. And wave 5, in general, in theory, you can have what's called a truncated wave 5, where it's actually equal or lower to wave 3, which would be, in this case, a double bottom, or a little bit longer than wave 3. It doesn't extend as much as it should. If it was to extend as much as it should go somewhere around here, which is about 50,000. Okay. Now, if this indeed is a double bottom, and this was the end of wave 5, and this is the thing, guys, with TA. We can't predict. We can analyze what's happening. We could see this is what's happening on the chart, and this is why we have reason to believe X, ABC can happen, and with what probability. So this, again, to repeat myself, is a very important observation that we actually did complete 5 waves. Okay, if we completed 5 waves, that means that unless we're in a deeper correction, which would now be referred to as a double 3, or if it wants to be even more complex, it would be a triple 3. I don't want to go there for now. There's no reason yet to think that way. We would then assume that this was the bottom of the correction, and now we're starting a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 upwards, meaning that from here, from right here, not from here, because this is the trick. This is wave B, which was higher than wave 3. This would be wave 4. From here to here would be wave 4, and now we'd be going up in wave 5. Now remember, we are inside of grand cycle wave 5, sub-cycle wave 3, sub-cycle wave 5. So we're trying to finish wave 3, and when we're in wave 5 of wave 3, if this correction here is actually over. If I confuse the shit out of you, please say so now. If it's clear, let me know. You can speak. Is there anybody that doesn't understand what I just said?
Not a dime, sir. No, I'm only joking.
All right. So, again, I just want to caution you that it's a very irregular structure. This 4-5, even though it meets all the rules, it's irregular. It's unusual, okay, to say the least, okay? And then you start to have to think about, okay, if this was really the bottom, what I'm supposed to start seeing is wave 5, because this was wave 4, right? Wave 5 to complete wave 3. So if I'm looking for wave 5 to start here, from here to here, okay, then I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is where I start counting, what am I counting here? What's happening here? What's this? So if this was, let's say, what? If this is, I don't know, let's go into a smaller time frame. If this is where I'm starting, then this is B1, ABC, 2, but then I come back here. So this makes me a little bit weary that we're not finished correcting. This here, this was great. This gave me hope, even though the 5 was truncated and in a way was good because it gave us a double bottom. In reality, we got the target of our double bottom, right? Because from here to here, from here to here, it's about the same thing. So this double bottom is no longer anything to consider because the target would have been from here to here, transposed on top. So we would have been somewhere here, and it's done. It's gone. So forget about the excitement of a double bottom. So now we just got to figure out what is going on here. So if this was wave 1, this correction here seems to be another complex correction. And unless I see this to the upside, going at least above 60K, I'm still not convinced that this overall correction is over. Okay, so no predictions here, guys. I cannot make a prediction. I can only say what I'm looking for in order to become more comfortable saying we're done correcting is I'd like to see us go above wave 4, which is 60K, with some conviction. Now, the good news is, or not, you know, maybe something to look forward to is this very obvious inverse head and shoulders right here. Okay, so maybe not the right color, put it in white. Okay, here we go. So we see that we have this possible inverse head and shoulders. So what I'm looking for, this kind of this, you know, nice big green candle could actually come, you know, very soon, because we have the inverse head and shoulder structure right here. Okay, so if we see a breakout, and this is what you want to watch out for, guys, it's this line. So you go on your own trading view, connect the dots from the 21st of November, it's to the 26th of November, to the 30th of November, and to the 1st of December. You'll have this very straight line. And this is your neck, and this is what you want to get above. And you want to see a reaction as you get above it, something strong like this, maybe come back down and test and go back up like this. That's what we want to see. And if we see that, we can then confirm this as the bottom of the correction of wave 4. This is what we really need to see before being able to confirm that that was the bottom of the correction of wave 4. Okay. Anybody have any questions before I move on to other stuff?
Yes, I do actually. Where do you feel that your Elliott Wave predictions or Elliott Wave counts fall if you take reference to the Wyckoff accumulation and distribution theories? Because I've been sharing the Wyckoff chart in the group for the last couple of weeks, and it's following it pretty damn well. I mean, we've gone a little bit higher now than what I would have said would be exact to the chart, but not really. It's still falling within the same sort of pattern, even though we went up a bit higher. Mm-hmm. So, like, in my reckoning, we're going to go down a little bit more and taper down from now until the 6th of December, at which point, from the pattern overlay that I've done, we would then see the spring. That would be the low point on the 6th of December, and then we'd go up from there. How would that deal with your count?
Depends how low we go. So if we go below this point, this would mean that essentially we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down to somewhere here where I said that this would make more sense. It happens to be somewhere in the middle between 2 and 2.5, based on where wave 3 ended up being at around 1.618. So I would like to see it. I don't want to say I would like to see it. I don't want to upset anybody, but from an Elliott Wave perspective, around somewhere here in the middle, around 51 and a half K.
52.8, my spring comes down to. Obviously, it's not precise because the chart is going to be slightly different to the previous Wyckoff, but that's where it falls with the way that I've got it overlaid, which has been pretty accurate otherwise.
52.8, you're saying, but 52.8 is not that far off from.
No, it's not.
I mean, where it went to, right?
It's only slightly lower, yeah.
Yeah. If your fractal from the previous Wyckoff brings you to 52.8 and we went to 53.4, that's pretty darn close.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: on your fractal, does it do something similar? Does it go down too close to 52.8, then come back up, then go back down?
Yes. Okay,
so then it would really it would make sense. I don't like that wave 5 ended here. Okay, given that it's an expanded flat, usually wave 5, usually for an expanded flat correction, really goes down lower than this. So I don't like that it ended here. Not that I don't want Bitcoin to go back up, but I mean, from being able to understand the structure and say with more confidence it's over, I don't feel comfortable saying it's over because of where wave 5 ended. So if your fractal says we're going to go back down a little more, I would say it makes sense.
There was also an inflow into the different exchanges today of 11,000 Bitcoin, which says to
yeah, that was me. Sorry, I just wanted to, in case
yeah, that said to me that there's a possibility that over the next few days we might see some.
Oh wait, you said Bitcoin. So I thought you said Bitcoin. I was talking Shiba. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, look, a couple of things to keep in mind again, just as a reminder. If you all have TradingView, and if you don't get it, it's free. You don't need any, paid TradingView for the purposes of just being able to draw lines. Draw this line, keep an eye on it. Breaking above this line with volume is a very good sign. Okay? Don't worry if it comes back down and tests it. It's very normal. On the flip side, I haven't looked at divergences yet, but we could start looking at divergences. This is the hourly. I don't want to look at the hourly. It doesn't give me much meaning. So if we zoom out and we look at the 4-hour and try to fix the chart a little bit so that it's legible. Yeah, even you see like even the RSI, there's like zero information. You can't gather any information from this. Let's see the daily.
There is also a squeeze that's looming on the 4-hour. I can't tell which direction it would be, but where it is in relation to the Bollinger Bands currently, it would be down.
Yeah. So guys, in terms of divergences, there's nothing at all looking at the chart that helps in any way figure out where this is going. This is could be further distribution if we go down, could be the accumulation we're looking for to go up. It would make sense for it to be accumulation because we already went down. This is the accumulation part, but it is likely for me to come back down more to satisfy a few things, to satisfy the Elliott Wave principles, to satisfy Pumpeye's fractal that he has from a previous Wyckoff accumulation where we had, dropped and then accumulated and we had our spring and whatnot. It would satisfy the fact that we are currently below the 7-day exponential moving average on the weekly. There's a lot more reason to think we're going to go back down a little bit before we go back up than vice versa for the time being. Of course, it's Bitcoin and we can have anything happen. But for now, unfortunately, there's not much in terms of a prediction that can be done given the data that's there. Okay, guys? All right. Can somebody tell me what happened to Secret? Or is it just because I bought? Pumpeye.
Do you know, I have no idea. I could tell you, but it's a secret. No, I don't know. Honestly, I've not really been in the charts much over the last week, apart from looking at
I'm surprised. I don't know why, because they have a lot of stuff going for them. The FA, you have incentives to hold and stake Secret. It's strange. There must be something out there, some news. I don't know. I'm going to look.
Correction then, because it did see quite a.
It's too much of a correction. The problem is it's too big of a correction.
Right.
The correction is big.
I mean, it was quite a big impulsive move, though.
Yeah, but look, normally your correction, you want it to go to 38 to 50% of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going down almost zero.
Wow.
It's a big correction. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is. Guys, I have a few coins I'd like to TA because I've been talking about them for a while, and we in Crypto Society have been talking about for a while. Kilt just got listed or is about to get listed on Kraken, so we'll have hopefully a good chart to TA. I don't think it's out yet. Let me just see here if it is. Kilt. Oh shit, it's there. Woohoo! Okay, we can do Kilt if there's enough data. Yeah, not enough data. Okay, forget Kilt. we can't do much. Can't do much with this. We're gonna come back to it. We can't do much with goat. Yes, sir.
Can I request that you have a look at Cryo War? You're on it.
I will look at Cryo War. It's on my list.
Amazing.
Here it is. So I did a TA for this a couple of days ago. Somebody asked me, and I targeted. What did I target? 490. It went to 470, so I was off. This looks like a very normal correction given the run up for Cryo War because it had been a very good run up. In terms of a correction, I would say that we should not see anything below. Who changes these colors? I know who.
That'll be the person who never comes on stream.
It's a rhetorical question. And messes with everything. Hold on, let me go back down.
Open mine up, Bilo.
Yeah. No, I have one too.
You've got one of yours.
Okay, here we go. So guys, 38.2 is my first target in terms of if you make it to, if the price makes it to 38.2, which it looks like it's pretty close, this is a very good buying point after wave 5. It doesn't mean it won't go lower, but it's a good place. It's a good technical analysis entry point back in or whatever you want to call it. Okay, doesn't mean we won't drop more. I mean, these Fibonacci extensions. Call them your entry points. VCA into these. Ultimately, if you're lucky enough that it goes to 262, for example, more likely than not, and I've covered this several times, if you're above 618 in a meaningful cycle, more likely than not, you will bounce of it. And if you're below 618 in a meaningful cycle, more likely than not, you'll be rejected. So it's not a bad idea at all. It's actually, I would suggest that you put buy orders here, just in case. If it makes it here, it'll bounce. I think it'll bounce. But for the time being, there's really no reason to think we're going to go that low. And that's not just because of looking at the coin, but it's looking at the FA of the coin. There's an insane amount of energy around Cryo War. A lot of hype, and sometimes hype beats everything. FATA, on-chain, it's hype. Some people trade based on what they see on Twitter. And I don't mean, I saw a tweet, I'm going to go buy a coin. I mean in terms of how much community engagement there is, how many tweets are there, how many GIFs are there, how many videos, memes. People trade purely sometimes based on this. And you know what? I find that they succeed a lot more than a lot of others because it's hype at the end of the day. And this here is quite hyped at the moment. Does not take away from its legitimacy, from its value, from the game, from its TA, from its FA, but just to say it's very hyped. And I think it's still a low market cap and it'll go much higher than this. So I would definitely put in buy points somewhere here, again here, and most definitely here if we get really lucky and it makes it down there. I don't think it'll make it, but you never know. In terms of analyzing the correction, I would need a bit more time because corrections, as I said, are a lot harder to analyze than impulsive waves. Impulse waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now that we are at the end of this, in terms of analyzing what the structure is, I would need more time, and I don't want to keep you guys here while I count and do different analyses on this. Yeah. Is that okay, Pumpy? Anything else you wanted to see? Sure. What's nice, guys, is if you look at the RSI, just to point it out, okay? If we draw a line from the previous low to where we are today, which is here, and then we do the same on RSI, we have hidden bullish divergence. So I really, really don't think that we're going to make it very low, much lower.
That's that would take a serious amount of downwards action for that to disappear, wouldn't it?
But there's a lot of there's if you learn, sorry for that, if you take if you make it a habit to study level 2 order books, you'll start to understand a little bit what's happening at any given point in time. Okay, there is a lot of buying pressure around these prices, so even if there was to be a big dump, it would get eaten up because there's a lot of people waiting to buy at a lower price because it is a coin that people want to own. So I mean, unless it's someone that just wants out and just wants to, dump their tokens, and someone with a significant amount of tokens that just wants to dump, it will get eaten up with the buy orders that are in this region, and it would make no sense for someone to dump their tokens unless they're desperate for the money because they need it for whatever reason. And I'm talking about big tokens, because it's a beautiful chart. I mean, just from a TA perspective, this is like, it's going to go back up, and it's going to go and make higher highs for sure. And it's very early, and it's still a low market cap, and all the hype, and the game's not even out yet. So I don't see a big dump personally. Okay, not financial advice, just my opinion. Guys, I've been talking to you for about 2 months now about this coin here, Remark. And in the middle of November, I made this prediction here. I said we would go to, what did I say? $50. And we just made it to 49. So not bad. Guys, Remark, another one of those projects that will do, in my opinion, it's going to pull a KSM. So if you remember how KSM was, 10 and then 20 and then 30 and then 40 and then 100 and then 600, this is one of those projects. And to those of you that are unfamiliar with Remark, Remark is I'd like to think I coined this phrase. It's the XRD, Radix of NFTs. So what Radix is, and we'll look at Radix as well. Radix is Legos of blockchain programming code. Okay? Each Lego does different things. If you grab this block of code on Radix, it tells you go left. If you grab that block of code and it tells you go right, if you put both blocks of code together, you have a flashing left and right signal, as an example. That's what Remark is, guys. It's pre-drawn, pre-digitized miniature pieces of NFTs that you, as someone who does not know how to design or draw or program, can take, group them together to create a brand new, unique NFT. That's Remark. That's what it is. So, look, I'm not supposed to say financial advice and all this, guys, but I've been telling you for a while. Seriously, at least look into it. If you like it, it's still cheap, and I believe it's going to go up a lot more. And it's another one of those projects that has a lot of hype behind it. So certainly you should look into it. The other one I've been mentioning is Flux. And Flux, again, is also very early. It definitely has a big future ahead of it. Flux it's like, to simplify it, is like a decentralized Dropbox or iCloud, where different computers on the network, could be you, could be me, could be anyone, becomes the central storage, decentralized central storage for databases, for whatever. And that's the concept behind Flux. And it's tied to Cadena. And as Cadena sees more action, as Cadena sees more adoption, so will Flux, because they're tied hand in hand. We'll look at Cadena. So Cadena has been like slow. It's been correcting for a long time. All this is a correction. Here's wave 5. I don't know what I thought it would go to. I'm just going to take a look here to see what I thought it would go to. I don't remember. Who's this guy? Okay. So I have started analyzing the correction. It's not over. All this, guys, if you look it up, if you feel like looking it up, and if you have the patience, this is called a triple correction, a triple combo correction, and it's the most complex correction out there. But guys, this is pure accumulation here, okay? This is pure accumulation here. Yeah, Cadena, you know, you look at the market cap. I've showed you this tool last time. I'll show it to you again. It's called market cap of. You go on market cap of, and you enter in crypto A, which is the crypto that's in question, in this case, Cadena. And let's say you want to compare it to Solana in terms of market cap so that you can figure out how much potential it has. So Cadena needs to do a 24x in order to reach today's market cap of Solana. And if you want to compare that to Ethereum, it's 192x. So this is, guys, what you need to be looking at in terms of potential of a coin when you're investing in it. First, it's not just that, because you can't just kind of, you can go in and enter a shit coin and it's 1,000x away. So you're like, hey, you're going to be 1,000x. You know, the FA has to be sound. It has to be, it has to withstand, you know, all the different scrutiny that you have to put it through. Who's behind it? You know, is it secure? You know, who are the investors? Who are the partners? Who are the collaborators? The normal Q&A you would ask yourself before you invest, hopefully, in a project. So Cadena, I think we could say is a quality project. So putting that aside, now you can start to compare market caps of other layer 1 chains and see where could Cadena go if you wanted to compare it to another L1. So if Ethereum is too far away for you mentally because it's, come on, it's Ethereum, well, let's just compare it to Solana and it's a good 24x away. So it's a no-brainer, guys. You know, people freak out, the price went down, I bought it 18, it's at 16. Okay, it's okay. You know, like long-term, this is what you should be looking at. You should be looking at the market cap potential. That's just my opinion. Moving on. Would you like me to look at XRD? Pumpy? Pumpy?
Hello, Bilo.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
So XRD, we went lower than what I thought would be wave 4. So again, we're seeing these expanded long-term corrections happening, as is with Bitcoin, as is with everything else. So to me, these really look like accumulation points, low, high, low, high. We're coming to an end, in my opinion, very soon before we continue on back up. You could see the volume profile is not that great, and that's why we don't make it higher. So what you want to see is, as you're going back up, you want to see, you know, a bit more volume. You're not seeing it. It's weak. And that's what creates the divergence that we see, for example, between here and here. So it'll come. The time will come. Yeah, the target for XRD, given that wave 4 dropped to here, might be, notice that the wave 4 guys just dipped below wave 1. Remember I was saying, and I just noticed this, remember I was saying how you cannot go below wave 1 in Elliott wave theory? Look at this. It just did a quick wick and went back up. And you see this primarily in leveraged markets, okay? And the reason for that is that people that know how to trade with, and when I say know how to trade, I don't mean know how to use trading tools, but I mean physically know how to do Elliott Waves and whatnot and see where the supports and resistances are. They're going to put stop losses here or liquidation or exit points here because they know if we go below wave one, this whole thing is invalidated and we're going down. This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up. This is something else. So what happens is as we get closer to here, there are stop losses that get enacted and this creates liquidity. And this is why you see a wick. It just wicks down and goes back up because there's buying volume here. Why is there buying volume here? Because there are people that believe we're not going to go much lower than wave one. And if we do, it's purely because of stop losses. And this is a liquidity zone, and they're going to go grab that liquidity and they're going to buy up the coin. So this is like, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. I wouldn't be surprised if you come back and retest the top of wave one, which is about 35 cents. But again, long term, it's one of those projects that I wish I bought into earlier. Pumpeye actually spoke about it for a while. He bought at the right time. I didn't. You know, Radix is if you want to look at what it is, again, it's Lego blocks of code. So a programmer, independent developer, software developer comes in and develops a small code that types the letter A by itself. And another programmer comes in and types, you know, puts in another code that types in the letter B by itself. And if you put all these codes together, you can have a program that does the alphabet, or obviously it can get a lot more complicated. But that essentially is what Radix is all about, okay? So it's very useful. It's a very innovative idea. It's definitely gonna be one of those projects that is good to hold, has very strong fundamentals, and long term, I don't think you'll have any reason to regret if you buy it. Luna. Let's look at Luna for my good friend Dave.
Doing very well, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
I know. Thank you very much. I've just taken profits.
Have you? It's about to 5x right now, I think.
You just say that on purpose. How dare you?
So, Dave, has there been anything news-wise for Luna? Any FA that resulted?
No, not that I've seen. But it looks like obviously with Luna, because you burn Luna to create UST, and the only thing I can think of is linking it back to the USDT FUD on news where they've been served. So a lot of people are going into algorithmic stablecoins.
I see. Well, what's good here, what's really good here, I should say, is that I've been eyeing this wedge for a while. And what this dip and recovery essentially does is it moves this line here. And we now have a channel that we seem to have broken out of. Could be retesting before we go back up, or we could just come back inside. We'll see. But the wedge is gone, and that's great.
Excellent. I want it to come down a bit, and then I'm going to buy back in.
So let's see if there are any obvious signs that it will. Look at the daily because I want to see something a bit more meaningful. Well, we do have a bearish divergence, but the daily candle closes in what? What time is it now? We have another couple of hours at least.
Yeah,
it's another 3 hours for the daily candle to close. So what that means, guys, and why are we saying daily candle, is because we're looking at RSI and MFI, and we're looking for what we see here is a bearish divergence. Okay, more so on MFI than RSI. RSI is actually not bearishly divergent at the moment. MFI is. So I would say good chances that it's not really a problem. What I would like to see, though, is I'd like to see this line on the daily, on the money flow index, go up above 76%. If that happens, I believe it'll trigger a strong bullish movement to the upside, and you'll see another big, another strong green candle. In fact, what is this, Pumpai? Could you remind me? This means,
What's that?
but it's okay. No, but that's earlier in the day. That's from, no, nothing here at the bottom, but it's okay. It's from November 26th. Forget it. If I look at the
change anyway.
Momentum change. If I look at the weekly here, what about this, Bumpy? This green candle, the green dot at the bottom here. But momentum change meaning what?
If it's a red dot, then it's a momentum change to the downside, and if it's a green dot, it's a momentum change to the upside.
But why is it a momentum change if we're going up and we're continuing to go up? Why is it a?
Because if you zoom out a little bit, you'll see that you had gone down a little bit, and then it's changed momentum to go up. I think there's a couple.
Okay, so you mean this candle here? This candle had a red.
So where it's changed, where that red candle was dipped.
Oh, okay.
You've got the tweezers bottoms. That green dot has been as that changed.
Okay. So, Dave, there's more reason to think this is going to go up than down. Just okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What do you agree, Pumpy?
The noble holds, sir.
Do you agree, Pumpy?
Yes.
That it should more go up than go down, right?
Yes. Sorry, Dave.
Nice. No, it's okay. I sold at 63.53.
Fucking guy. That's like, what is that? That's like 30 cents from the top.
Yeah.
But you practice black magic. It's not the same.
No, it was just, I went, it's been going up for a little bit. I've no TA on it. Screw it. I'm taking the profit.
Dare you not ask us for TA before you sell?
Well, I did. Remember, you told me not to invest in it, and I went, no, I'm invested in it.
Pumpai, could you not record that part, please?
Okay. Too late, I'm afraid. Sorry.
All right. What else, guys? What do you want to see? Tell me. Give me some. I've gone through what I wanted to go through. I don't really have much more to.
Sorry, going back to Cryo War, would I be right in saying that there's also a falling wedge currently in play on the 4 hour, which should fall quite well with the idea of an ABC correction, but with us currently coming down to perhaps the bottom of the A.
I've got a target on that one for 340-ish. I don't know if that's because I just
talk about targets for Cryo War right now.
What would you be referring to, Pumpy? Is this what you're talking about?
No.
From here?
No, on the I was on the 4 hour, to be fair, not the 30-minute.
Ah, 4 hour. Okay.
Noise.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the call, so I didn't see any of this.
Where did you say you had your buy?
So from that.
Dave?
I'm looking about the 340.
That's what I was saying before. Exactly.
Oh, was it? Sweet.
Yeah. Well, around here, where the 382 is, that area. Okay, Pampai. Sorry. From where to where?
So see the bottom of the green candle just on to the right of your 4. The fairly big green candle. No, the smaller 4.
Here?
Yep, that
here?
one. If you
this one here?
No, right a bit.
This
right
one
bit.
here?
From there, if you drag a trend line from there across so that it literally hits the bottom of that. Yep. There.
Okay. And then this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
So that works as a falling wedge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And possibly also that as it's just hit the bottom of that channel or that falling wedge, that we might see some upwards momentum from here, creating the B leg of the correction potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that. I've got buys at 340.
Well, it's just that also falls on the EMA as you can see.
The thing is that if this is A,
yeah,
C is going to be lower.
Yeah.
So you'll have your chance. Be patient. Let's assume that we're doing a 1, 2, 3. I don't like this. because now well, we could have a leading wave diagonal, which this is what it is. We can have a diagonal structure where wave 4 goes above wave 1 if it's diagonal, but then wave 3 must be bigger than wave 1 and wave 5 must be bigger than wave 3. So let's just measure to see if that makes sense. So from here to here, 0.786. From here to here, 0.8. So far so good. And then from here to here, no, it doesn't work. It does not work.
Are you trading XRP?
No, I don't know where this came from. This is very old, or this is not mine. This is a shared number.
Which one of you
so this wouldn't
trading XRP?
This wouldn't work. Okay, this wouldn't work because, yeah. Sorry, it's actually the opposite. Okay, because this is a converging diagonal. Wave 1 would have to be longer than wave 3, and wave 3 would have to be longer than wave 5. So it's okay that this is less than this, but it's not okay that this is more than that. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the corrective state and what
In this particular case, my thoughts are FOMO are gonna overrule any TA that I do.
Okay. Yeah, how about that? That's what happened with me too. As we discussed before the live. Never listen to anybody else.
You didn't, did you?
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, chat to me offline.
We'll chat offline. But yeah, basically I sold the top very nicely. And then I had planned to keep the money out and to buy back in much lower and to use it as a nice big fat trading bag. And someone said, oh, it looks like we're going up. And I was in a very tired state. It was about 2:30 at night and I bought back in.
Yeah, they do sleep trades.
So we know not to, just so we know not to listen to that person. Who told you that?
It was. I can't say that. That's just harsh. But yeah, just don't listen to anybody else but your own knowledge. I think is probably best. Or Bilo. Listen to Bilo.
Listen to Bilo. And it wasn't me, so I can definitely say that.
No, it wasn't you.
That is very sweet.
I could cry.
All right,
fair,
guys.
You ended up with more coins, so there's always up.
Well,
since I went through this quite quickly,
a lot more coins by now.
Since I went through this quite quickly, initially I didn't think I'd have time, but I have time if you guys wanna, if you have any requests.
Go for it. Always listening about Solana.
I can dance.
I was going to say, yeah, Solana, please.
Here she is. Here is my beautiful Solana. Grand cycle of Solana, all-time high of 259. Let's just see where the 382 lies. 382 lies somewhere in this region here of 159. I don't think we'll make it there. I really, really don't think we'll make it there. If we make it here, it's because Bitcoin took a big dump.
What you mean, like I think is going to over the next couple of days?
No, what you're thinking is not that big of a dump. What you're thinking is it's not that big of a dump.
I'm just trying to scare people.
Look, what's important here to just put things into perspective a little bit is we made it above this line, okay? This is an important line that we made it above, and look at this. Happens so often, and it's just nice to see, and look for it, get used to it. But when you get above something important, very usual to come back down and test it before we continue back up. So if we come back and test it and we fall below it, that's shitty. But if we come back down and test it as we did here, and we go back up, it's very nice, bullish confirmation that, and we're going to continue on up. Now, guys, remember what I said to you at the beginning of the video. This is the, I was referring to Bitcoin, but this is the grandest ever cycle of, what is this? Solana, okay? Remember, I also said to you, even though we have the grandest possible cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inside here there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inside the one there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. This is the grandest possible cycle. There is no cycle above this. But all of this, if indeed this here is wave C, all of this is wave 1. And this is wave 2. I'm going to make it, and then we'll find wave 3, 4, 5 later, okay? I'm going to make this thicker for Dave because I love him.
If it's not rounded bottom, I'm not interested.
I'll make you a rounded button, don't worry. And we'll make it into a super millennium, whatever that means. And we'll make this into a primary. Make this into a primary. So all this means, guys, is just like the degrees, right, of importance, or larger degree, smaller degree. All right. So now, if this was wave 1 and this was wave 2, and this was really this 184 instead of the 159, which is where the 382 is, and where we have a V line of most importance on the VPDR, is it? Just to see, that would be very cool. That's confluence. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. 382 happens to be exactly where this line is. That's confluence, okay? All right, I'm a geek, I know. So if we want to start projecting wave 3, and we look at ideal target, it's too early to project wave 3. But ideal target based on Elliott Wave theory is a 1.618 extension off of wave 1, 2. This means that we should be looking in this region for wave 3. Believe it or not. And then somewhere here for wave 5. Right here. Okay? I'll keep this here for fun. We'll look at it every week. But if this was the bottom, and if we've done with wave 2, this is where we should be looking at for wave 3, if we indeed start a new bullish cycle upwards. Many people are talking about Christmas Massacre and that we're going to be in a bear market. Christmas Massacre, if you look at it, it happens. It happens more often than none. But take last year as an example. People lost their shirt thinking we were going to go into a bear market. And Bitcoin went from 13 in November to somewhere in the 60s in April. So I personally don't think there will be another bear market. I put in a little comment this morning into CS thinking that with adoption, institutional buyers, retail buyers that are increasing on a daily basis, and we see this when we look at on-chain analysis, we'll see retracements, we'll see corrections, but I don't think we'll see other bear markets. Bear market that we saw in Bitcoin in the past was when Bitcoin was still up in the air in terms of, is this here to stay or is it a fad? It is no longer a fad. It is the future. It's taking down traditional finance as we know it. And traditional finance has taken on the mentality of if you can't beat them, join them. And that's what they're doing. So governments are also getting into crypto. Digital currency is a big thing. This is not going anywhere. Everything we do in life today will one day be on chain, whether it be in a metaverse, whether it be on Web3 app, whatever it is that you can imagine you doing today, in the future will have an application on chain. This is revolutionary in more ways that I can imagine or describe. And I know you all know this, and it's for that reason that I don't believe we're going to have such a thing as a bear market. We'll have corrections. We'll have retracements that are within the norm of movements, cycles. But I don't think we'll be entering into a bear market. That's just my opinion. I was on market cap of, and I want to compare and tell you why these targets shouldn't make you feel like it's exaggerated. Compare Solana to Ethereum. Okay, Solana is 8x away from Ethereum's market cap today. So this means that Solana can be worth $1,700 per token, per coin, to be of equivalent market cap to Ethereum today. Now, this is not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take time. And if you believe Ethereum is going to stay where it is, well, your target is $1,700. But if you believe Ethereum is going to double from here, and many people do, and there's with good reason, well, it's a 16x from here. And that's how you have to look at things, guys. This is how you have to look at what you're trading. Because that is the right way to look at it. Aside from, of course, passing the fundamental analysis tests, the credibility test, the legitimacy test. This is the most important step after that. So these targets here are nothing to freak out about and say, what? Come on, that's crazy. It's nothing. The equivalence in terms of market cap between Solana and Ethereum puts Solana at, I'll show it to you again, $1,700. I'm only saying $700. So it's really not far-fetched. So if this doesn't excite you and make you say, shit, maybe I should buy some Solana and start accumulating slowly, I don't know what will. Because Solana is a legitimate project. Solana is very highly successful. Okay, many say, and it is true, it is more centralized than we would like it to be. But so what? I don't know that centralization and decentralization as a word, as an expression, people don't really, I think they use it very loosely and put a lot of importance on it without truly understanding why it's so important or isn't. And in some cases, I don't think it is. IBM is a very good company. I invest in IBM. Apple is a very good company. I invest in Apple. I believe that I will gain by investing in Apple. Does Apple have to be decentralized for me to invest in it? No.
You what?
Same.
You still invest in stocks?
No.
Sorry.
I have shares. I have shares that I don't look at, but I'm just making the narrative that doesn't have to be decentralized. It's not evil for something to be centralized. And this is a bit of a stigma that we've all learned to kind of, is it decentralized is the first question. But why do you want it to be decentralized? Well, why does it matter so much that it's decentralized? I mean, in some cases it's good, but not everything has to be decentralized for it to be good. That's my only point. Up for discussion. If you guys want to talk about it, let's talk about it. It's a nice discussion.
I agree. So there's no discussion from me.
Okay. Whatever makes me agree. $750 as high as it looks from here, it's nothing. It's nothing. For Christ's sake, Ethereum, beginning of 2020, was at what price? Here, let's not even guess. Where is Ethereum?
$100 in March.
Yeah. So you see, like, some people that I know were smart enough to accumulate because they saw into the future and said, shit, this is an opportunity. We're exactly at that point today with Solana. July of 2020, $200. Nice. November of 2020, $566.
It was $360 when I bought.
I got some high 80s. Though I think I do think that we will have a bear market. It might not be as extreme as previous, but for me,
So define bear market. What's a bear market?
well, really, I think we're going to have a retrace at some point. Don't know when. So before anyone
Because
asks, I
to
think we're
me,
going to
a bear
retrace
market-
about 50% we're going to take from a top. It's going to come down.
But where's the top? The top is are we there? Are we far away? Is it 100K? Is it? Makes a big difference.
Don't know. Yeah, and that's the difference, exactly like you say. But from wherever the top is, I won't be able to time it. None of us really can.
Nobody will. Nobody will. Nobody will.
I will. And I've been, we've all got our own theories and stuff like that, but I've been looking at it and I've been told I'm wrong, which is fine if I'm wrong. No, it's my money that I'm betting, which it is a bet. I will start DCAing back in from minus 50%.
It's a very good strategy. Look, guys, this is a bear market. Okay. Bitcoin in 2017, all the way to Bitcoin in 2019. This is a bear market. Okay. And the reason for this, aside from we have bear markets in traditional finance as well, is Bitcoin was not yet proven. Many people, including myself, had many doubts that this shit could go to zero. I mean, it was hype that brought it here. What does it really even mean? What the fuck is a digital currency? What is this thing? I don't touch it. I don't smell it. I don't see it. Who accepts it? It's like it's the tulip craze from the, I think it was the, not sure in history, on the 30s, the 40s, where you know, the price of tulips, it was like owning gold, and it just crashed. And as we were going down here, look at this. Imagine the people that bought at 20 and then they're sitting with it at 3. Nobody here was saying, oh yeah, we're going to be seeing 50, 60, 70. Nobody knew. It was pure conjecture at that point if anybody said anything. So the big difference between here and here, the big difference is Bitcoin's proven itself. The ecosystem has proven itself. It's expanded, it's evolved, it's institutionalized, governments are getting in. They're trying to regulate it because they know it's here to stay. They tried to stop it, it didn't work. Wall Street is now in it because they don't want to miss out on the action. We see how many billions of dollars are being invested. We see how much money is being invested in the metaverse, how much money is being invested in different projects. Facebook changing their name. This is not going anywhere. This is the future. So for that reason, I won't call what happens next a bear market. I'll call it a retrace, because how do you have a bear market on a revolution? The revolution is starting. Are you going to have a halt in the revolution? It's like saying we've invented the rocket engine to go to the moon, but we're going to slow down now that we know how to go to the moon. It's not going to happen. Now we want to go to Mars, and once we go to Mars, we're going to go to the next one. And this is how I see this. So I can't see a bear market here. I can see retracements, I can see profit taking, but not this. We won't see this again. It's more philosophy than anything, I know, but that's what I think.
Anyway, that drop there, we see that on Tuesday sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think you say we're here and we're adopted. I think we're only at the start.
We are at the start, and that's what I mean. It even you take that point and you go further with it, because as much as we here, we're 8 on this call, we live, breathe, eat, and shit crypto, and we think it's like, you know, we know a lot about crypto, and we do, but the majority of the world knows nothing about crypto, even today. And it's only going to improve. It's only going to increase. The adoption can only go up. Because once governments start with their stable, you know, the government, the currency, digital currencies, everyone's going to hear about it. Then they're going to look further and look into it more. And now you have countries, poor countries like El Salvador, buying into Bitcoin to increase their reserves. And they did a fantastic, smart decision because they did very well with that. You don't think other companies are going to try to copy that? I mean, this is really, really, really revolutionary. And
I've had, sorry, Bilo, to cut you there.
Yeah.
So there's been a spike. I've had 6 people in the last 10 days ask me to talk them through crypto
yeah, absolutely.
that were muggles previously.
I love that word. I love it. Muggles. There's no stopping this. There's no slowing this down. We'll have retracements. People will freak out. People will capitulate because they think it's over and it's going to go down. And yeah, you'll see that. But smart money will never call it a bear market. Smart money will buy the dip. Because a bear market, you're not buying shit because it's going to continue down. If the mentality is a bear market, if the mentality is a retracement, smart money is where money comes in. That's where the smart money comes in. Anyway.
I read.
Yep. What else, guys?
Hey
Can we
guys,
take a look into TREEP?
Who?
Oh, sorry. Can we take a look into TREEP? Retreat?
Retrieve. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can bring that up. It doesn't look like it's available. Sorry, it doesn't look like it's available on TradingView.
Yeah, TradingView is probably not going to have it.
Any other ones that you'd like?
What exchanges is it on?
TREEP is, I think, only on, was it AnySwap or SpookySwap? Take a look.
SpookySwap, yeah.
Yeah, it's an FTM, isn't it?
TradingView
Yeah.
really need to sort their game out.
It's not TradingView. Actually, it's different. So remember how we couldn't trade PCX?
Yep.
Not trade, sorry. How we couldn't chart PCX? It's because they had to pay an amount to TradingView. There's something like that. They have to pay. Unless it's on a major exchange.
Because to me, TREEP looks like it's done. So I just wanted to have an opinion.
Done in the sense of?
It had like, what it had at 6x or something, almost to 6x, and then it just went down all the way.
Oh yeah? I haven't looked, even though I own some. Honestly, I haven't looked.
Will you get it on? Well, you won't get it through this. It will be on ZooCoin and stuff like that, won't it? But it's not on TradingView.
Could that be holding PCX to get the airdrop?
I don't know what's going on with that airdrop. I've been waiting forever. I have no clue.
They need the parachain slot to get that airdrop.
But what if they get a thread? Do we get the airdrop then?
Maybe. We'll have to go speak to them, won't we?
We know someone, don't we?
Bilo, this is your mission. You have now accepted it.
I think it's the last person that said we know somebody was Pumpeye.
By the way, if anybody wants a good trading coin, then fetch.ai is back within those parameters that I sent a little while back, just bouncing up and down within a certain range. No financial advice, of course.
Of course. Okay, guys, it's really, really simple. Okay, buy here, sell here. What's so complicated? Buy, sell here.
Exactly.
Buy here, sell here. Buy here, sell here. What's the problem?
I don't know. How did that work out, Pump?
If you go on the 4 hour, we're looking at fetch at the moment. We're not looking at Cryowar. Shut up.
You take the mick out of me for Ada too much. It's my turn.
Well, yeah, but I'm currently in the coin. You'd have been right if you'd have FOMO'd back in.
No, I sold everything at 390 or whatever it was.
Oh, I sold everything with Cryowar as well, with the intention of buying in much lower. Unfortunately, it just became not much lower because of a tired state and listening to somebody else. So, don't trade on your phone at 2:30 in the morning when you've only got one eye open, because it doesn't work out very well.
What's that tip of the week? Yeah.
Yes.
From
Absolutely.
Pump I.
That is tip of the month, actually.
Pumpeye, I'm gonna remove my screen, and you can share your fractal for everybody to take a look at, and we can talk about it.
Two secs.
And remember, he said fractal, Pumpeye.
Okay. Bear with me a second, Bilo.
What, are you taking a piss?
Nope.
No, you'd hear him sitting down.
I was just switching over on the stream as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, what did you want me to talk about, Bilo?
Well, just explain your
did
point
you
of view.
literally just want me to share the screen?
Yeah, share the screen. Explain your fractal and.
Okay.
And,
so the overlay that you can currently see is this grey line is the Wyckoff distribution and accumulation pattern that we saw between, I think it was about October the 21st of 2020 through to July, when the spring was. I think the spring here was around the 21st of July, if I recall correctly. And although it's not absolutely picture perfect, you can see that this pattern has happened fairly accurately. Peaks and troughs obviously are a little bit different, but all the way through to when we've dropped recently, and we're now following the accumulation pattern. We've come up a little bit higher here than the original pattern would show you, but I'm expecting us to come down to somewhere around the 52.6, 52.7 mark on the 6th of December. What would you like to know, Bilo? Are you still there? Have you gone?
So, sorry, bro. Maybe just look at a few charts. I'll be back in just a sec. Okay.
Okay, no worries. Any chance requests? Anyone?
FTM. Because I think that's going to
Just
come down
wanted
a
to
bit.
say that.
Go on, go for it.
Is $4 realistic in the short term?
$4 what with FTM?
Yeah.
I think it's going to bounce off the 2.
I've noticed that the Tomb is doing really well at the moment.
What is, sorry?
Tomb, I think on FDM, is backed by that Harry Yen, it's like a billionaire. So he took over the project because I think there was some sort of like flaw of it, and it crashed hard. And then I think he took it over a couple of months ago, and it's going really strong at the moment on FDM.
Nice. It's not actually one that I've heard of.
Yeah, it got hacked or something, didn't it? Or it was the algorithm that was incorrect and basically tanked it.
So one of my friends, he got wrecked and he just forgot about it, didn't bother selling. And then I think yesterday you get Tomb, and then you get something called T-shares as well, and they went to $17,000 a T-share, and he had 10 of them.
Wow,
lucky guy. So yeah, I think the billionaire Harry Yen's goal is to make it the same price as at Wi-Fi. So it's looking strong. I think we missed a boat on that though, guys.
just a bit.
As far as FTM's concerned, I don't think that we're going to see any major boost in price in the short term, because we're currently in a corrective wave. Bilo would be able to tell you more regarding the Elliott wave count, but it's currently experiencing a bit of downward pressure, so I can't see it going up to the $4 mark in the short term. maybe in the medium term, but definitely not during the next month or two. I wouldn't have thought.
The volume's dropped significantly as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think there's a little bit more attention on the AVAX ecosystem at the moment, isn't there, than the FTM?
100%.
Yeah, that's apart from the spikes, that AVAX is keeping quite a steady steady volume.
Yep.
Can't believe I sold that at 80.
What's that, AVAX?
Yeah,
What are we currently sat at?
117.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But to be fair, the other coin that I put it into did better, so that's okay.
And which is that?
Luna.
Been trading Dave. Oh, Luna.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a rotation into Matic, or do you think that's just a?
No, it looks like the layer one rotations that we saw a couple of months ago are happening again.
Yeah, so I was thinking, because every time someone forgets about one of those, like Matic's been quiet for ages, then boom, it shoots up massively.
But there's a lot as well. There's a lot of the gaming NFT games and everything that are coming out on Matic as well, so that's probably driving the price. Yeah, that volume's increasing in Matic quite significantly, actually.
Oh, nice. If you look at DOT, DOT on the market cipher B has just indicated that we've seen the bottom.
Sorry, guys. Back.
That's okay. So DOT looks like market cipher B is calling having seen the bottom at, when was it? 34.43, which was the bottom here. Or 32,
Nice.
sorry, 32.21. So we might see some upwards action for DOT.
I wouldn't be surprised because the parachain auctions are ongoing and the selling pressure got to a point where enough people got interested in buying. So it could very well be. And you look like you might have an inverse head and big inverse head and shoulders there. If you connect the last two on the left to the one here, yep. Could you pull a fib from the bottom to the top? Nice. 50, exactly. Very nice. Yep.
Let's see what the target of that would be.
$95. $100.
Nice.
Wunderbar.
We'll take $100 DOT.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar indeed. Bilo, I know obviously it's my screen that's being shared at the moment, but what are your thoughts on FTM? If I remove these.
So for that 100, like in next month, roundabout.
Let's go back to it. I think that's difficult to call really, because this upwards action here could take any length of time really, but the technical target of this inverse head and shoulders is $100 roughly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could take into sort of March next year, April next year,
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
Do you really think we have that much long in the market to go?
I personally think somewhere between the end of December and April basically. It's very hard to say an exact date.
I think crypto is really bullish, but I'm scared that the external factors will come in and wreck the market.
Yeah.
That's always a thing, though, isn't it? That's going to go. If it wrecks the market externals, it will wreck stocks as well.
Well,
And
yeah,
stocks
everything
you
will go
keep an eye
down
on.
because you can't have quantitative easing on the scale that's been happening. But then that's probably the reason why we need crypto more than ever. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Does that mean that at some point it has to decouple? In theory, it does.
It will do. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be for the next couple of years.
Well, there is a decoupling when it comes to the U.S. There is a decoupling when it comes to the U.S. Dollar index, in the sense that when that goes up, it tends to have downward effect on Bitcoin, and when it goes down, the inverse effect. So more inflation, better for Bitcoin, less inflation, bad for Bitcoin. So there is some sort of a relationship there.
And the one thing that I'm looking at as well for an extension, not in the Bitcoin space, but in ETH, is that when the merge of the chains happens, hopefully still in February, that will give ETH another a boost, which will boost a lot of the coins around it, especially the layer 2s as well.
I'm watching the whole stable coin situation as well, because obviously they hate stable coins and they want to bring in their own that they control. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that with the CBDCs though, that's a little bit different, isn't it? Because that will even crush the banks. They have to watch how they're doing that.
I mean, if they got rid of stable coins in the morning, I could actually see more money going back into things like Bitcoin. Because you want to put your money somewhere safe, and if you don't have stable coins and you don't want to leave crypto entirely, then where would you put it? You put it in the most sort of trusted projects, the biggest ones.
Luna,
that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Bilo, what are your thoughts on FTM? On where it's going from here, having a look at that chart?
Could you
think it's done correcting yet?
Could you expand the RSI a little bit? No, I need to see the chart. I mean, I need to see both. Just expand.
Sorry.
It's okay.
and it's actually just for those little corrections that's happening. It seems to be one of the worst ones that's taking a dump. Well, it's not a dump. It's doing a bigger correction over than the other ones.
Not really. If you take it from the bottom to the top, it's not that big of a retracement.
Probably only 382, isn't it? 8.5.
It's decent. What do I think? Show me the weekly. It's interesting. Go to the last bottom of the RSI before this one. Just put your hover over it.
Yeah.
No, to the right. To the right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, here. And there's bullish divergence there for sure.
Indeed, there is.
And the candle action with these dojis, this looks like basically coming to almost like a halt and turning around slowly. It does not look bad, to be honest.
The question,
But with lower volume.
Sorry, the question originally was whether I could see $4 phantom in the short term, which I said no.
No, really. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in the short term?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see why not.
But is that based on a Bitcoin pump?
It's based on Bitcoin being stable. And by stable, I mean not a big green or red candle, just trickle up or trickle down, sideways, a bit down, a bit up.
Well, that's kind of what I'm expecting for the next week or so.
Even if we do go back down to that 50, what was it, 53 or 52.5 or whatever it was. If it happens slowly, it's still good. And the fact that Ethereum pumped before we saw any moves with Bitcoin is actually something that we've seen only recently a few times, where the alt pumps before. And usually the other alts start to follow. So
I noticed earlier there was a Chico video that came up saying alt season's upon us.
Could variably check out BTCD dominance.
Dropped like a week ago around under 41, and a lot of people said actually that this is like a critical point to watch as soon as it drops below 40.
What's the ticker again?
I think it's BTC Dom.
Could you take later a look at ETC Bitcoin chart?
Sure.
That would be nice.
Put BTCD, see what happens. Type in dominance, maybe, only dominance.
Again, make sure you're on the right website.
Okay. Turn it back to mine. I can look. I have it. I'll share my screen. It's at 41. So yeah, I mean, look, these are very good zones for altcoins. So if we stay here in this region here, we're starting to enter. This particular region here is very interesting for alts. We'll see. As I said, when we started this stream, not convinced that Bitcoin is going back up. I think the correction is not over. So we might see it tumble down into this zone, and we might see alts start to pick up. We're seeing some positives, across the board a bit. So the negatives are very low. Ethereum's correcting from its pump. Sometimes the simplest things are the easiest things. Like, see this wedge here, this target was essentially, what was it? This transposed here. You wanted to see BTC USDT, right? Excuse me, BTC ETH, right?
Yeah.
Or ETH BTC, I should say. Is that what you want to see?
Yeah, that would be nice, because actually I think it's showing why Ethereum pumped. I mean, yeah, obviously. Because it looks like Ethereum is about to go out of the channel. So I just want to have an opinion.
So I'm assuming you're talking about this channel here.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, I mean, if Ethereum moves up faster than Bitcoin does, that's what you'll see, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And this does look like a bull flag of sorts. So if you want to follow pure bull flag theology, then the target, once you get out, and I haven't really played bull flags in a while because they're very unpredictable, but the target when you get out of this bull flag is somewhere here, BTC to ETH.
Nice.
It's like playing 3D chess a little bit when you do this, though, when you're looking at two moving targets versus a stable coin and a moving target.
Yeah.
And if you're in the game of purely accumulating BTC, it's the only way to go. If you want to accumulate USD as dry powder for reinvestment, this can get a little tricky. But if your goal is to accumulate satoshis, that's the right way to go. Most people, a lot of people's goal is just to accumulate satoshis.
Yeah, that's the point. Can you see a target? Like the top was
13. 0.13.
0.13.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see what that is as a financial figure.
But you see, this is where I'm saying it's hard to TA this, is because 0.13 based on this, but there's two moving targets. So if Bitcoin goes up, you won't see this. If they go up, let's say Bitcoin goes up 10% and Ethereum goes up 10%, then what you'll see on this chart, where's the squiggly line, is this. What you'll see is this. Hey. You'll see this. You won't see what I just showed you. So for you to see this, Ethereum has to go up percentage-wise more than Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, guys. Unless there's anything else you guys want to look at or discuss, more than happy to discuss. You don't have to always look at charts. We can talk about FA. We can talk about whatever. But if there isn't,
maybe elk.
elk, sure.
Elk, like the yeah. Okay.
Like the moose.
I do have a final question after you guys are done.
Sure.
You'll be happy to know that Luna just made a new app.
You're welcome. I can't see elk here in a way that I can.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be on TradingView.
So somebody else said they had a question, and let me just take a look at Luna.
I just noticed recently there's been a bit more of a resurgence in launch pads, which normally I'd be running a mile from at this stage in the game. Just wondered if anyone knew why that was.
There's more because launchpads became a bit old. You're saying that they're resurgence.
Yeah, I've noticed it with some of the projects coming through now and stuff.
Are they launch pads on chains that don't currently have them? Because if they are, then it's one thing saying that it's a bit late in the game, but actually if there's potentially hype, for example, on the AVAX network, then there aren't that many launch pads on AVAX, then you could see why it might happen.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I mean, I go into some strong fundamental stuff, but I also go into the previous launch pads. I've noticed that ones that were dead and buried are kind of come back to life. Not all of them, but some of them. I normally stay away for them. For those who obviously don't understand what I'm trying to say, is because toward the end of a bull run, you don't really want to be in a launch pad. That'll probably be the first thing to be dumped when things go sideways. So or go down. So no, I just noticed it, and I'd agree with that definitely about on new chains and that. I think I don't think anyone here from memory speaking to you over the chat is too keen on the Pulse network with Richard Hart, but I know they've got one that they're going to do there when it launches next month, I believe. And as you said, AVAX has got one. What's the AVAX one called again? It's coming out, or has it come out already?
Avalanche, was it?
That's it. Yeah, the Pulse one is SpaceX. I know it's been worked on at the moment.
Yeah, you got to be careful with launch pads. We've been burnt a few times. And there's launch pads that use the name of a chain but have nothing to do with the chain. Like, just a good example is Kusama starter, KSM starter. It's not even on Kusama.
Oh, really?
No, there's hype just because it has that. It's not. Yeah.
Get out.
But it's doing okay. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Launch pads have a responsibility to do a proper due diligence on the projects that they launch, and when they don't do that, they suffer and their investors suffer. So I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but I think you all know who I'm talking about.
Indeed.
No.
Well, a lot of the biggest ones have had hacks as well. I've lost money on those.
You know, hacks is one thing. It's a bit more forgivable, but anyway, it is what it is.
But then again, I've made the largest part of my portfolio from holding the tokens anyway. So,
guys, if you're not millionaires today, if we are not millionaires today, because I certainly am not, next bull cycle, after the retracement that people will call a bear market, we're all going to be filthy rich. Just thought I'd mention that.
Nice.
Cubans all around.
You like
All
the
right.
senor?
I wish I'd known you guys before you guys were calling Solana.
Don't worry about it.
I think the first time I heard about it was $15. It's like,
we're getting to know ourselves.
never mind.
There's going to be plenty of them. Honestly, this is what I mean in terms of how revolutionary this is. There's not going to be a shortage. Whatever you missed out on, don't let it bother you too much. There's one around the corner.
Absolutely.
Did one of you guys earlier say that everybody's talking about it? I knew crypto was going more mainstream when even my window cleaner and my barber mentioned it in the same day that they had a small position now.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's amazing. Even kids, kids in school are talking about it. It's NFTs. I mean, we think NFTs is like, oh, you got to be really into crypto to know what an NFT is. Everybody knows what an NFT is. If you like sports, if you're just into sports, forget crypto, you'll know what an NFT is. Sports teams are trying to do NFT cards.
I can't remember what dictionary it was, but actually NFT was named the word of the year by one of the
Oxford, wasn't it?
Was it the Oxford, was it?
That's correct, yeah.
I actually spoke to a nanoscientist recently who told me that the only way that he could possibly get his money from South Africa was to send it via Ethereum. The banks wouldn't let him transfer it out of the country, but yet he could buy crypto with it and send it as Ethereum. Crazy.
Trust.
I said you should have sent it via Tron or something. I mean, come on, sending it via Ethereum, it must have cost you hundreds.
That's right. Yeah.
So really, we want to thank the banks for being.
Yeah.
Well, no, sending over Ethereum isn't actually too bad. Buying on Ethereum at the moment is a pain in the ass and very expensive, but sending's okay relative to the size of what you're sending.
I saw a transaction yesterday that was at 1,486 Gwei.
Nice.
You'd have to have like a very big amount of a big transaction for that to be that high.
I was just sending my kids some pocket money.
Okay, guys.
Ethereum network, eh? Hopefully things will change. Or
So you diss my baby.
or we'll just be moving to different networks.
If you don't want to sleep tonight, check my ethgas.com or something like that. You can check how much you spent on fees across your entire crypto lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think you want to check that.
Yeah, I've done that, especially when I was DJing like a mofo last year. Oh, Jesus. If I would have just kept the fees, I would have not been talking to anyone and I would have been sat on my island.
Yeah. I know someone that's spent over $500,000 in today's value of Ethereum on transaction fees.
He must be a whale.
He's definitely upset about the transaction fees, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's all relative, isn't it? A few years ago, we could buy a Snickers for 40p. Now they're like £1. So,
Indeed.
And the small ones.
yeah, they've shrunk them. I don't know whether this is crypto, but that's the stuff that helps.
That's the only reason I'm doing crypto.
I'm still smarting about
So you can afford chocolate.
Luna, you buggers.
That's it. That's my master plan. It's not about having houses or cars or any of the finer things in life, just so I can keep up with the inflation on my chocolate bars.
Excellent.
Yeah, but you have to buy 2 chocolate bars to make up for one now.
I'm wrecked.
Tell you what, only one chocolate bar. Only one chocolate bar, I'll send you back 2.
They produced the peanut count. Right, there we go, so
Guys, you wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you guys for
Thank you
joining
to
us.
Every single one of you that's joined us, both on Facebook, on YouTube, and in our Zoom meeting. And those who follow us avidly every week and follow our TA channel on Telegram and are a member of the Crypto Society Telegram group. And please do like and share the streams and invite your friends to the Telegram group. There's so much alpha that flows through that group, it is actually ridiculous. What you see here during our live meetings is just a fraction of what you gain from reading through the group. Thank you very much, Bilo.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.